Good morning everybody, it's Adam from Blackrock Outfitters here. Right, this is part 4 of the Crafter NOMAD build. This is going to be really exciting today because we're getting the FIAMMA skylight in, we're getting the RHINO roof rack on, we're also getting the ladder on the back. So I'm going to split this into little parts and we'll sort of cut it all together. Let me show you what I'm working with on the roof today. So, as you can see, I've already pre-cut the hole. I'll use a good template for that. It's bang on, you can't get any errors on that and you get a good finish. There's the FIAMMA 400. The 400 works really well on this roof. You've got a rib on the roof there on the inside. You've also got a rib roughly there. The FIAMMA fits in there perfectly. You don't get any issues with having to cut any sort of ribs out or anything like that. It's all about strengthening the van at the end of the day, and the less amount of metal you can take out, the better. Right, the way that I'm going to have to do this is, as you can see, on the roof of these vans, they've got these sort of indentations that come upwards. That leaves a gap here. I have seen people just siliconing straight across this. Now, that's great, but what will happen is over time, the silicone will break down, it will dip, and then you'll get leaks coming into the van, which is a big no-no. So, what I'm going to use is this putty. I'm going to be going across these little gaps here. Probably going to need 2 or 3 layers of that just to build it up. And then I'm going to be putting a thin layer of silicone on the top of that. So this is the putty. It's an RV putty. They use it in America for putting their skylights in. I'm a massive fan of the American products. I mean, they're really good. They're hard quality, you know, good quality. They're hard wearing. When you layer this up, it's nice and sticky, but it will never set solid and it will flex with the van. So that's what you want on this type of job. This is the sealant that I'm using. Quite a few people have asked me in the past, what do I use for skylights and that sort of thing. This is a brand new thing on the market. It's called HB42. As you can read on there, it's an all-in-one. It's a sealant and an adhesive. It's flexible, durable. It works in the wet. It's odourless. It's food safe, and it can be over-painted. This is in white. I like a white because obviously you can see where you've gone with the sealant. But the main thing is there, look, internal and external use. That's what you need. And the durable and flexible. Flexible is a really key thing in this, because if you imagine the skylights flexing with the van, you're going to get hot if you're going abroad, and you know it's going to have a lot of weathering. This is the stuff you need. I've used it on a couple of vans now. I've had no issues with it, and it leaves a really nice finish. So that's what I'm going to be using on the very top of the putty. You don't need a lot, you just need like a bit of a bead round it. So that's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to crack on. I'm going to get these gaps leveled up all the way around. Once I've done that, I'll put the camera back on. I'll show you what we're looking at then. Maybe try and do a shot of me putting the sealant on the top and then putting the skylight into place. Right, see you in a minute. Right, there you go. Build it up with the putty. I'll just put a little thin bead on the top and into the corners, just as a precaution, just in case. There will be some sort of squeeze out on this because you always get that anyway, but I'll try and keep it as neat as I can. I've also put some on the skylight, put it around the holes where the screws are going to be coming through. I've put it towards the edge because that's where roughly the edge of the putty will be. Obviously you've got different gaps in there that you can go to, but that's what I've gone to there. Hopefully I don't get this all over my hands. I am pretty tidy at this now, but there's always the chance. So next shot will be this on. I'll show you how I get the screws in and sort of, you can't really torque it down, but just take your time working your way around with the screws. Right, see you in a minute. Okay, so the skylight's in. I've put a few screws in, as you can see. It's pretty much in place. I'm just going to move that out of the way because it's probably going to be really difficult to see under there, but as you can see right into the joint, it's completely covered, and it's also covered along that seam there as well. Now the upright pieces, the indentations in the roof, that's obviously all covered inside there, and you've got the nice big piece in there as well. What I tend to do afterwards is go along with the knife and I'll cut off any excess that is squeezed out and then blend in the sealant and the adhesive as well. So also what you're looking for is the screw heads. You can just see the sealant and the adhesive in there. That's going to ensure that there's no water going to get in through the screw heads. A lot of people forget that. They put the screws in and they take no notice. You can just see under there that there's a bit of glue in there as well. Inside that one, you can see the glue in there. just waiting to come out as soon as it squeezes. So all you do is make sure that's through there, get a screw, feed it in, get the drill, and just crank it down. You don't want to go too mad because it will end up bending. And then all I do, I just work my way around, start in the corners, do these two, do these two. It's like alternating when you do like a head gasket basically. And that's it. I'm just going to like button all these down now. Once it's done, we'll have a look at how much sort of squeeze out we've got. As I say, I get a knife, gently chop it off, and then blend it in with the sealant. And that'll be it, that'll be the job done. Right, see you in a minute. Okay then, there's the finished article. This is about the best shot that I can sort of get at the moment. I've tried different angles and trying to show you different ways of getting in there, but that's about it. Nice and flat, nice and compact. There's no little dips, there's no little nooks and crannies where the water can run. And that's it really. So, Skylight is in. You don't need to, but you can dot some sealer in the top of those if you want, but as you saw, the sealant comes out of the hole, so when it's compressed it makes it nice and tight anyway. That's it really. The only other thing I can say is make sure that your skylight is facing the right way. So obviously this is going to open that way. There's two hinges at the front which goes to the front of the van. Well, as you can see, we're outside now. This is the final thing that we need to do, and it's one of the most crucial parts of installing a roof light, is the water test. I've been soaking this skylight now for about 3 minutes, coming up to about 4 minutes. I do like to soak it completely. There's no point sort of scrimping on this. You want to know if it's going to leak, and if it's going to leak we need to sort it now. Out of all of the skylights I've ever done, I've only ever had one leak, and we still don't know what the cause of that was. I'm not too sure whether it was a defect in the actual ribs of the skylight or whether it was down to my error. But yeah, I've done numerous ones of these now, probably hundreds in fact. And that was the only one I've had leak. So, right, I think that's enough. Let's go in and have a look whether it's actually leaked or whether it's weather tight. See you in a second. Okay then, inside the van, as you can see, there's water on the top, but as far as I can see, everything is bone dry. The telltale sign is water coming down the screw heads. That is one of the biggest telltale signs of this. It can leak in from that channel there, but it's very rare, to be honest. You don't really see any water coming past the screw heads. That's the first line of resistance, to be honest with you. But it's really difficult to see because the camera wants to focus on the light outside instead of in here, but I can guarantee that that is bone dry. Now, you can fit a frame on the inside of these to screw into. However, the way that I do my roof on this and the way that I do my insert, I do it a bit differently. So I'll come through with those screws there. If you want to box it in with a frame, you can. I don't, because I do it slightly different, but you'll see that as we progress with the build anyway. I think I'm going to conclude it there because that's about it really. Thanks for watching this, and we're going to take it back in the unit and get onto the roof rack and the ladder. So we're back inside and it's RHINO roof rack time. This is the fitting kit for a medium wheelbase. So you've got 4 brackets over the side of the van. It's pretty self-explanatory, to be honest, but there is an instruction manual if you like. So on a medium wheelbase, it's telling us that there are 4 either side, and it's number 1, 4, 6 and 8. Those are the caps that are in the roof. You need to prise these off or push them out from the inside, which I've found is the easiest. Once those are out, you can locate your centre holes on your brackets, and that's it. Easy enough to do. Let's go inside the van and show you what it's like in there. So in the roof of the van, there's the cap. So we know the numbers that we've got to poke out. I've tried many different ways of doing this, trying to twist it and push it out, but it just won't do it if you just twist it, because it's got like a mastic on the back, so it tends to break anyway. What I'm going to do is the tried and tested trick is a hammer and a screwdriver. It looks brutal, but it's not. The plastic caps are easy enough to break. When we get on top of the roof, obviously you'll see how easy it is to prise off, but just that through the centre, it's not going to do any damage to the van. All it's doing is breaking through the top of the plastic cap. The reason I do it this way is because it's been wrapped aligned as well, so it's obviously caused quite a bond on the roof. I'm going to tap it through with this. We're going to get on the roof, and then I'll show you the outcome on the roof. Alright, so bear with me. Right, so you can see there, they're pretty easy to break. There's like it's like a panel, sort of mastic bodywork type sealant on there, but these just break off. They're pretty easy enough to get off, to be honest. I mean, I'm trying to do it one-handed, but they just break off. They're just bits of plastic. So you can see like the daylight through there. We'll go on the roof and I'll show you what it's like up there. Right. And there we go. There's a piece of the cap that's come off. But that's it. As I say, it is brutal, but it just stops you sort of risking damaging the roof, really. You're just going to carry on picking that off there. You can see this bit there, the top piece, is actually the van, and then the plastic cap is still on there. So the best way to do this is get a very sort of thin electrical screwdriver, flathead, just prise it off. I'm not worried about this Raptor liner sort of breaking away here, to be honest. It's all going to have sealer on it anyway. I'm going to put a bit of Sikaflex on there. You don't really need to do that, but I'll do it as an extra precaution. Just stops any water sort of ingress there. So I'm going to carry on doing that. I'm going to go all the way along the van. What was it? 1468. I will look at the instructions, don't worry. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that side, do the other side as well. Look, there's the lovely skylight that don't leak. Okay, right, I'm going to get those in. See you in a second. And as if by magic, the brackets are installed. It's pretty easy to get these in. It's just one bolt, straight through, onto a nut and a washer. Job done. The next bit is being done as we speak. The actual main roof rack is being put together. Now, I'm not going to really film that because it's only a case of putting the rack together in 3 parts and then lifting it up onto the roof and slotting it into these beams. The only bit that I am going to have to look at is where the beams go across, because I think one comes straight across the top of the skylight. I've had it before with the vans. Long wheelbase, I've had to chop it out. I will have to double check this one. But if it needs cutting out, I'm just going to nip it off. It's only welded in, so I'm going to nip it off, treat where the cut is, and then obviously that will just slot straight in round that. I'm going to try something a little bit different now. I'm going to try and click my fingers, and the roof rack should appear on top of the roof. Ready? My God, it is really magic. I've managed to get a solar panel on there as well. And I've also moved my van out without moving this. Amazing. There you go. Roof rack's on. I've relocated that beam there. I don't really like messing with this one because it obviously weakens the structure there. But the skylight will still open. It doesn't go to the absolute maximum, but to be honest, it's not far off. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, one RHINO rack installed. So I'm going to move on to the ladder on the back now. Once I've got that, I shall add it to the next bit. And I'll see you over there. Right, see you in a minute. Well, I'm down off the roof now, finally. I've been looking at the RHINO ladder. Here he is. RHINO ladder. So this is going to be going on the back doors. It's going to be a bit difficult for me to film that properly, but there's the ladder. I have sort of started on this already, I'll be honest with you. I've got the plates on. For those of you who've never done one of these, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's 2 supporting brackets, quite a thick one that goes on the bottom. You've got a padded matting type thing on the back, obviously to stop any sort of leaks and obviously to stop metal on metal. and then you've got one at the top as well. So you can just see that there. It's pretty easy to install. Comes with the sheet as always, showing you what you need to do. It's not too in-depth, to be honest. You've got your supporting plate on the back there. That's etched out already. So as you can see in the bottom piece there, it's etched out for the mouldings inside the door. So you can't even go wrong on that. And it's numbered, look, number 32. So 32 on the top. The one on the bottom is a little bit more tricky, number 36. So there's 2 bolts in there. What you do is, you put your plate in first. You get your marks for where you need to drill. You take your plate out, you drill your holes. Bolt the top ones in just loosely. Then, in there, you can see the bottom bolts. Now obviously you're not going to get in there really, so the best way to do that is from the other side. You can mark it, top ones first, go around the other side, put the back bracket on, and then bolt through from the bottom. If that makes sense. It probably don't, but I know what I'm saying. So that's that. I'm just about to put these other brackets on now. I'm going to get these on, and then I'll give you a little shot of what it's like when the ladder's on fully. And that'll be it for this episode. There's been quite a bit in this, to be honest. There's, you know, gone through all the roof rack being installed. Bits here, bits there. Finally got the ladder on, and yeah, I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. Right, let's crack on. There we are then. It's on. Now, for the keen-eyed viewers of you, you'll notice that I haven't got the glass in on the back window yet. No problem. There is plenty of room to get the glass in when I do want to put it in. I'm not going to be putting it in till the last minute, so that's okay. So there you go. Thanks for watching this episode. Everything is on. Solar panel is in. I've got the membrane, the roof membrane that lets the cables down. I've also glued that in. And that's it really. Right, next week I'm going to be jumping on the inside because the outside is pretty much done. I am waiting on one of the trims there, which you can see. A couple of backlights and that, but that's about it really, to be honest. By the way, if anybody's interested in this Raptor T5, I've just started doing the build on it. It's got a facelift on it now. It's a 2004, 82,000 miles from new. I sold this to my friend a few years ago. He's getting married now, Tom, so it's time to loose up a bit of money. The inside is carpet lined. I'm going to be putting some lowering springs on this. I usually jack these vans up, but I don't know what you think out there. Leave some comments in the comment section. I think this needs to go low. I'm not a fan of going low, but I just think it looks nice low. I love jacking stuff up and big tyres and that, but I think on the floor this would be quite cool. I'm going to be putting a full interior in this, a full camper interior. So if anybody's interested, it's probably going to be about 12 grand, something like that. Ultra low mileage really, for what it is in the year. So yeah, give me a shout, but I'm going to leave it there. That's the van so far. Thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you to all the people that comment and have subscribed. It means a lot. And I'll see you next week when we get onto the interior. Woo! Right, have a great weekend. I'll see you later. Ta-ra.